DCEASED A Good Day to Die Hard Issue 1 sees Mr. Miracle and Big Barda arrive at Apocalypse, which has been, along with Darkseid, utterly destroyed. Scott feels fine, his demented father is finally gone, and the two boom tube home. On Earth, Mr. Terrific looks over the zombified Captain Boomerang, trying to determine what the virus is. He is hesitant to try and attempt any change in the being since it might corrupt it, meaning he is stumped on what is causing this. Hearing a beep, he realizes that they have returned, taking off to look for the virus's origin. At their apartment, Scott and Barda wonder what they should do as a knock is heard at the door. Barda goes to open the door, but Scott wonders if it's one of the monsters and they might be knocking. Barda thinks monsters don't usually knock, but Scott is still adamant it is, but then suddenly the doorbell rings and Scott tells her to get the door. Mr. Terrific is at the door, saying that he was tracking Apocalyptan tech and he got a spike when they boom tubed home. Inviting Michael in, they learn by sheer luck his mask protected him from infection, and he's hoping that they would take him to Apocalypse so he can find out what exactly the virus is. Barda says the planet is gone, making Mr. Terrific consider his other plans. At Cord Industries, Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are hiding out in a bunker, but soon something smashes through the titanium shielding. That something is Big Barda, who along with Scott and Terrific fight the hordes outside. The heroes reunite after a quick fight, and Mr. Terrific tells them to save the world they need to think outside the box. Boarding Ted's ship, they blast off, hoping to find something that can help them in England. Booster wonders why they don't just go to the Justice League, and Mr. Terrific says the League is a powder keg, and if someone like Wonder Woman was to get infected, they wouldn't want to be near her. He says their new plan involves magic, and if that fails, he has a third plan, but it could end very badly. In Liverpool, John Constantine runs from the infected horde, making it to Chaz's cab, telling his friend to get going, but he finds him infected, forced to use magic to burn the man up. Taking the driver's seat, John races away, immediately smashing into another car in front of him thanks to never learning how to drive. The horde surround him as there is a giant explosion, killing all of the zombies as Barda and the others arrive. Constantine says everything is just peachy for him, wondering how they found him. Mr. Terrific says that it was thanks to his Justice League membership card, which has a transponder in it. Mr. Terrific is hoping since he can't find a technological fix for the outbreak, magic can fix it. But Constantine says he's already tried and this magic is beyond him and it's time to go hide. Michael says that they have a world to save and Constantine tells him to go save it then. The heroes leave, saying that if he changes his mind, he can join them. Constantine, however, teleports away as Mr. Terrific knows it's time for option 3, and it means Booster Gold is now the only person who can save humanity, thanks to him owning a stolen time machine. They learn he left it in the safe hands of fire and ice, but soon learn it's not as safe as they thought as they head to the home of the heroes and find that it has been overrun and ice and fire have become zombies, attacking the ship and bringing it down. The team fight to the house as Barda and Scott stay behind to fend off the zombies. The two know that they will die, and soon they do as Scott dies quoting Cher. Booster, Beetle and Mr. Terrific blast their way into the building, but upon arrival at the time machine they find Wave Rider waiting for them, saying he cannot allow them to change time. At the Oblivion Bar, John drowns his sorrows in the bottom of a bottle with Bobo. Knowing he needs to do something, however, he leaves, telling the monkey bartender he's going off to be a fucking hero. Wave Rider meanwhile says Michael Carter is under arrest as Constantine arrives, asking Wave Rider if he can see his future. The being cannot, as Constantine performs some classic misdirection, using Wave Rider's confusion to headbutt him, breaking his nose. He tells Mr. Terrific to do what he needs to do while he holds off Wave Rider, and suddenly a zombified Barda crashes into the room, killing Mr. Terrific after he saves John from her. Ted tells Booster to go, but he begins getting sick as Wave Rider says it's the end, as Superman has found Flash in the rubble of Keystone City, and Flash was infected. Booster begins to disappear from the timeline thanks to no future ever existing anymore. Michael disappears as he apologizes to Ted Ted, who is quickly killed by Barter. Wave Rider tells John it's time to go, but he doesn't want to give up on the timeline. Wave Rider goes to leave, saying that they might meet again, but John says he's going to make sure they meet again, grabbing the being and putting a bonding spell on him. Unable to move, Wave Rider is killed by the zombified Ted as Dr. Fate and Zatanna arrive, telling John to come with them as another fate awaits him. John punches Fate in the helmet, hurting himself, but John wants to know why he gets a second chance rescue, but the heroes like Mr. Terrific don't. But Dr. Fate says that it was not in their fate. Dr. Fate says that the world is ending and they need to prepare for what comes next, but John tells him and the Lords of Chaos to eat a big bag of bollocks since the world isn't over until he says it is. DCEASED, A Good Day to Die issue 1 was a great issue that had the characters actually complete a task and do things and not stand around on a rooftop for a couple of issues waiting for things to happen to them. It was a great cast of characters as well, and I enjoyed their well-written dialogue and snappy banter between some of them. It was just great seeing these characters again, especially since Tom Taylor wrote most of them in Injustice, and it's cool seeing these characters again written slightly differently. I'm looking forward to seeing what Constantine will do to combat this virus, as well as how much it will interact with the main series, since if this, I guess, one shot is okay, we'll obviously get some more from it. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing what will happen to this part of the story and how much it will interact with the main series. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10.